Who's in? Who's out? We are now less than a month away from Selection Sunday, so let's go ahead and take a look at the brackets and how it stands right now. Starting off at the top, we've got a new number one overall seed, Michigan Wolverines. You are on top and in store for an incredible game this weekend. Right behind them, our second number one seed is going to be Duke. And guess what? We get a matchup of these two teams on Saturday. I cannot wait for this game. This is truly going to be one of the best games of the season. We'll decide who's going to be the number one after this week. Coming in at number three is Arizona. Still on the number one seed line despite the two losses last week. They do have two really tough games coming up this week. They also did beat UConn earlier in the season, which gets them that third number one seed. And lastly, the fourth number one seed still is going to stick with UConn. They've got some great quad 1A wins. There's some really, really big games this week. They're going to help determine who's on that number one line come next week. Moving on over to our last four in. It's the Georgia Bulldogs. Wow, what has happened to the Dogs? They were comfortable in the tournament before, and they've lost 5 of their last 6 games, putting them in really dangerous territory. They lost both games last week at home to Florida and on the road to Oklahoma. Neither game was particularly close. They're 3-6 in quad 1 with a bad quad 3 loss on their resume. Second in the last four in, it's going to be Santa Clara. They had their chance to lock up a bid last week. They were beating Gonzaga at home in the second half, but were not able to get the job done and did unfortunately lose to the Zags. They have a chance for another quad 1 win when they go to St. Mary next week. They're 42nd in the net and 1-4 in quad 1 games. Sticking in the last four in, we've got TCU. Welcome to the party, Horned Frogs. They beat Iowa State at home, a massive win, and they won the bubble eliminator game against Oklahoma State in overtime. They're 45th in the net. They're 5-6 in Q1, but they do have a really ugly Q4 loss from opening night against New Orleans. And then our last team in the field, it's going to be San Diego State. They keep doing what they need to do. They handled Nevada at home in their only game of the week. They're now 1-4 in quad 1, and they do have some big conference opportunities still to come. Moving over to the first four out, we've got Missouri. They beat Texas A&M on the road, but dropped another bubble battle at home to Texas. They're 66th in the net and 3-4 in quad 1. Ohio State, it's the same old story. They did get a Q2 bubble win over USC, but they missed another chance for their first quad 1 win over the season against UVA. They're 38th in the net, but still 0-8 in quad 1. Next, we've got New Mexico. They split their Q2 games this past week. They beat Grand Canyon by 1. So they beat Grand Canyon, but they lost to Boise State by 1. They're 44th in the net, and they still have a quad 1 win over the next team on this list, and that's going to be VCU. VCU hasn't lost in over a month, and they're on their way into bubble conversation. They're up to 46th in the net, and they have a chance for their first quad 1 win of the season as they go to St. Louis this weekend. You guys let me know in the comments, does Arizona deserve to hold on to that number one seed?